sandals at all?
No, the stitches do not apply to the sandals. The stitches do not apply to your bags. The stitches do not apply to a pouch. The stitches do not apply to the belt. Have I answered your question? Yes. Any other questions? There's a whole list of questions that Fredun sent to me that I'm looking for. F Mujaddidi. Okay. I have an old ihram I used a few years ago. I would like to reuse it, but I've washed it and scented it in washing soap powder. Am I able to reuse for Umrah, or should I purchase a new ihram? What's the answer?
Yes.
New one, or you reuse it?
Reuse.
Very good. I'm flying directly from Australia with a short 90-minute layover in Dubai. Should I perform my ghusl in Sydney? Yes. By the way, the ghusl is a sunnah. If you can't perform a ghusl, you simply make wudu. If I am pressed for time during the transit and I'm only able to change into my ihram clothes, could I make my niyyah and pray 2 rak'ah sunnah on the plane? It's a sunnah. Once you've entered ihram, you don't need to pray. The obligation is not to. If you're pressed for time, that's a perfectly valid reason for you to not pray. And it's a sunnah, so you don't have to pray. You simply make wudu, put on your ihram, make the intention, and you've entered into the state of ihram. There was another longer list. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. I heard when we are in the state of pilgrimage, or ihram, we cannot touch anything that has perfume on it. Hot towels that are handed out in the airplanes, or even the cover of the Kaaba. Please explain. Jazakallah khair. Correct. You cannot. If you are given those nice, warm, scented towels on the plane when you're about to land, you cannot use those. One should refrain, during the state of ihram, refrain from touching the ghilaf of the Kaaba, or even the multazam, the door of the threshold, the door of the Kaaba, because that is drained in perfume, right? So you do not want to touch that. When performing the tawaf of Umrah, I've heard that we cannot look towards the Kaaba while we are doing the rounds. One should lower their eyes or look ahead. We cannot turn our body towards the Kaaba. And if we did, we need to redo those steps. Please explain. Jazakallah khair. Yes. There are varying valid opinions that one cannot see the Kaaba during the tawaf, or face the Kaaba with your chest during your tawaf, and if you do, your tawaf is invalidated and you must begin your tawaf over again. That is a valid opinion. By the way, that is the predominant Hanafi position. That said, there are other valid opinions in which your tawaf is not invalidated. Though, one should try to the best of their ability to at least not face their chest towards the Kaaba, just continue making the rounds. It's almost impossible to not want to see the Kaaba while you're making tawaf. Right? So, I heard for every Umrah we perform, the ladies have to cut their hair 1 inch in length. So with every layer she has to cut 1 inch all around, including her bangs. Growing up, I was told to take a small section of hair and just trim cut 1 inch, but recently someone told me that we have to section our hair in 3 parts, and including our bangs, if we have them. Naturally, the person who's asking this question has bangs. And every length of layer, and then trim cut 1 inch off. Please explain this, because if the ladies have shorter hair to begin with, we will end up looking like men. If we perform more than 2 Umrahs, as our hair will become real short then. Apparently this is from the Hanafi school. Yes. By the way, just with Aisha radiallahu anha's hair was very short. And they say one of the reasons for her very short hair was due to her increased Umrahs. So, again, the general opinion is, again, that is a valid opinion to divide it into 3 parts, but the general opinion is just grab it together from the back and just cut 1 inch off. Do men have to get completely bald, or can they leave a buzz, very short hair? What's the answer? Yeah, buzz is preferred. By the way, If your hair is short to begin with, and some ulama are of the opinion that if it's less than an inch, then you have to become bald. Okay? So, yes, Murad, you have to become bald. It's kind of cool becoming bald. I enjoy becoming bald. It's just low maintenance. You know, and your white hairs don't show. You just need someone really good with some really good almond oil to massage it in your head. You know what I'm saying? They should provide that service. People are shy. Honestly, one of the reasons people just don't want to become bald is because they're shy. They're going to come back and go to work, right? Honestly, I feel that there's no better opportunity for da'wah than that. You know, like you get to talk to people. Okay, you look different, but you did it for the sake of Allah. You know what I'm saying? Then there's people who fear that they won't grow their hair again. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. May Allah make it easy for everyone. I mean, inshallah. I am curious to know, is the fast food restaurant Dhabiha in Saudi? Because someone recently told us that they are not. By the way, it's a very valid question. If one is extremely conscious about the meat or chicken that they consume, then it is in their best interest that they refrain from all types of meat, no matter where they travel. Be it Mecca, be it Medina, be it any other part of the world. Because the food, my personal opinion is that if someone tells me it's halal, and I don't have any reason to doubt them, because there are times when I will doubt people, I'm being honest, and I won't say I won't come to your house for dinner, or I won't say I'll just not consume it, right? Simple. And remain silent, not go on a negative sort of like rant of, oh my God, the food in Medina is not halal, the food in Mecca is not halal. But I'm telling you that if you are overly conscious about the meat products that you eat, then I would actually urge you to refrain from all meat and chicken products in the sacred lands. Though I should also add that the authenticity of the fast food in Saudi definitely comes with a grain of salt. I will add that. Because a lot of the processed meat comes from the West. It's like me trying to buy a burger at Jeddah airport and the package says packaged in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? And don't start me on a halal rant right now because I know a little too much and I will probably make most of your halal food haram, so let's not go there. No, I'm being serious. I know and work closely with an individual who has visited almost every slaughterhouse in the United States where halal comes from. And I'm talking about 200 slaughterhouses. And I will add another 100 slaughterhouses in New Zealand, Australia. And he's on his way to Brazil right now. Okay? And so this man is probably an authority on halal in the world. And it can become very, very questionable. So I'll just add to that the majority of the beef and goats in the United States are not to worry about. And chicken, most of it, inshallah, is okay. So, I mean, generally. But again, when you talk about fast food in most parts of the Muslim world, again, so the simple question is, do I eat fast food? There's nothing like a Hardee's burger, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Okay? My opinion is, if someone tells me it's halal, khalas, I'm going to move on. Though, I don't eat much beef to begin with. Though I love beef, but the Prophet ﷺ never consumed a lot of meat to begin with. So it's not just about halal and haram, it's beyond that. We Muslims are like meat eating. No, really, we are. That's all we do. No, even vegetables, like, you tell my wife to make bhindi last night, it's all filled with oil, it's dripping, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, khair, inshallah, it's all good. But we should, don't tell her I said that.
It's a desi bindi.
Yeah, desi bindi, naturally, of course. Are you kidding? How can we eat the gora bindi to begin with? Boiled, you look at it for a little while. Khair. But the point is, we should just be conscious about what we eat, when we eat. People eat late into the night. The Prophet ﷺ was conscious about these. We will be wearing our ihram in Frankfurt. So what is the ritual since men will be changing at the airport? Do they perform wudu and then change? Frankfurt airport, the last time I checked, had showers. You have to look for them. They do, right? And in some places, like Dubai airport, like you pay like 17, 18 bucks and you can get a shower.
No, they have it too.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but like in some places, in some parts of the world, you'll have to pay to use the shower. They have proper, clean, nice shower facilities. In other places, they don't. The really, really sad part, and this is more to do with Hajj than Umrah, that the majority of the airports in Muslim countries have no showers for Hajjaj, and nor do they sell ihrams even during the Hajj season, which I found just, like Amman. Amman is a Muslim, tons and tons. Tens of thousands of Hajjaj fly through Amman every year, or fly through Cairo every year, and there's no showers. I mean, if anything, someone could actually make money off of those showers, but that's a topic for another day. Do they perform wudu and then change? Take a shower if you can, and then change. If not, wudu and change. What is the niyyah for the 2 nafil after one's ihram? The 2 rak'ah associated with the ihram. Is that for men and women too? Yes. Okay, the questions, Faridun, that you sent to me are done. Anyone here have any questions? Yes, brother.
I have 2 questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Number 1, can we fast?
Yes, you can. Do you want me to make that answer any longer? I mean,
If you could elaborate.
Are
Are there any rules to it?
No.
Or we could just fast whatever you want, pretty much? No.
yeah.
What about sacrificing animals?
Sacrificing, I mean, if you don't need to, you can, for the sake of reward, but there's no requirement per se.
But you're allowed to do it?
Yeah.
You just don't do it yourself.
Yeah.
You have to pay the bank and they will do it there.
Yeah. And by the way, if you make a major mistake, such as during ihram you put on clothes, during ihram you put on perfume, or like a friend of mine from San Jose during Hajj. By the way, when you are in ihram, you can take a shower. The only reason people say no is because of hair fall and so on and so forth. You cannot use soap. You can change the cloth of ihram. If your ihram becomes impure, you can put on another ihram. If women, your clothes get dirty, you can put on another ihram. You can change your clothes. Women who are menstruating will not enter the Kaaba. Rather, when they become pure and they've showered and changed their clothes, of course your shower, you can't use any soap or shampoo in that shower because you have entered into ihram. Once you become pure and you shower and change, you will come to the Kaaba and make your tawaf in Umrah. Now, there is one opinion, and I've sort of been, there's sort of a back and forth on this, varying opinions. Some ulama are of the opinion that Safa and Marwa, some ulama are of the opinion that Safa and Marwa are not part of Al-Masjid al-Haram. If you look at historical pictures of Safa and Marwa, it wasn't like what it is today. It was a street. There were stores on each side. People used to sell stuff. There were homes on each side. People lived, like, where do you live? Safa Street. Like, literally, people lived. You'd be walking, and there'd be homes there, and shops there. People selling Pepsi, God knows what else. And so, that's why the opinion is that Safa and Marwa is not part of the Kaaba. So women who are menstruating, if they want to go, some ulama are of the opinion that you can go around and enter from Safa and Marwa and sit at Safa and Marwa and at least be able to see the Kaaba even if you're unable to pray. But if women are impure and not tahira, then they cannot enter into Al-Masjid al-Haram, right? Of course, so. What was your question? Sacrifice, yeah. So, yeah, you can perform sacrifice. But going back, if one makes a major mistake and you need to give dam, a dam can only be given in Makkah, or Medina for that matter, but it cannot be given elsewhere. Last year we were at Hajj, and on the first day of Hajj in the evening, a friend of mine comes back from the apartments to Mina. We happen to be in Mina, and he goes, "Man, I'm feeling so fresh. I just took a shower." I'm like, do I smell zest? And he's like, "Oh, man," because he forgot. The average person goes to the shower and does what? Uses soap. He wanted to go to the shower just to cool down, so he used soap as he normally would, and he forgot. I reminded him that he used soap on his entire body, and so he had to give a dam. He had to sacrifice a goat. Of course, he just paid for it, and it was taken care of. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Someone had a question in the back? No? No question? Yes, hold on.
You know about the sandals or slippers? Is that for men and women? And then
No, the required footwear in which the top bone needs to be exposed is only for men. Women can wear socks during tawaf, can wear shoes during tawaf, can wear whatever they want during tawaf. That requirement is not for women.
And then how much does the whole thing have to show? How about if you have like a slipper that two,
So,
some of it shows, some of it doesn't show, or is it the whole
So
thing?
if you have the Tiva sandals, where this is my foot right here,
Yeah.
and the strap is here, and this portion remains exposed, you're fine. But if you're wearing those Adidas slippers that you get at Famous Footwear at the mall, where the slipper goes, the top part goes across like this, that would not be valid. That's why the safest slipper happens to be the
V one.
kenchi. I like that. I never thought of it that way. Yes.
Scissors.
The scissor, yeah. Or what else? Hawaii chappal. Isn't that Urdu?
Yeah.
Flip-flops. Yeah. But don't get like the $2 flip-flop from Old Navy. You know what I'm saying? Get something a little sturdy, a little nice, that when you're walking it's comfortable. No, footwear is very important.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing a lot of walking. And so whatever, but it needs to be footwear that's convenient for you. You don't want to be wearing, your Skechers walking shoes, because when you walk to the hunt, you're going to take it off, you're going to put it in your bag, and things. So something simple yet convenient that the bottom is a good bottom because it's outside the haram. It's tiled, right, marbled, and if they're washing it, you could slip on it. So you want to make sure that with grip, yeah. I was just talking to someone. I can't remember where I was. I was with some Saudis somewhere recently. And we were just talking, and we were talking about the marble in the haram. And so, a lot of people think that, it's cold. If you ever go into the Kaaba, the white marble is always cold. You can put your feet on it. And the black strips that go between it, try putting your foot on there and your foot will burn.
It's hot.
It's hot. But the white is always cool. And so some people think that there's water running underneath it. And it's actually a very special stone on some island outside of Europe, Italy, and the Saudis went and bought off the whole island. So, alhamdulillah. You want to add something to that?
Goodbye.
It was a good buy, yes. Yeah, we do. Yes.
So I'm trying to understand the purpose behind the ihram. So
Behind the?
the ihram, getting into the state of ihram. Let's say that you fly in, but you don't do your umrah immediately. So you go to Jeddah, for example, and you go to your hotel. Let's say you go to Mecca and you just stay in the hotel for a day, then you do the umrah the next day. Is it still wajib on you to be in ihram before you enter Jeddah, or can you just do the ihram?
So there, this is, again, you have to go back, and due to the lack of time I didn't explain this, but there are 5 points that the Prophet ﷺ has designated, that anyone that enters through any one of these 5 points, some of them, Masjid Aisha is right outside of Mecca, other places are about 100 kilometers. The furthest one is Dhul Hulayfa in Medina Munawwara. If you're coming from that general direction, one must be in the state of ihram. We all arrive into Jeddah, and we fly in from the west of Jeddah. Okay, so and Jeddah is on the western port. There's nothing to the left of that. And that's why the predominant accepted opinion of the ulama is that one must be in ihram 2 hours prior to your arrival at Jeddah airport. Now, there is a difference of opinion though. If you are entering Jeddah airport with the intention of going to Mecca, then you must be in the state of ihram. But if someone were to go to Jeddah, not with the intention of going to Mecca, but just going to Jeddah and being there for a few days before Mecca, then they would not need to put on their ihram. Then they would only put on their ihram once they get ready to go to Mecca. Also, if you arrive into Jeddah airport with the intention of flying to Medina or driving to Medina, you do not have to enter in ihram. So the idea, the point is, the Prophet ﷺ says you are entering into sacred territory. And before you enter into the sacred territory, you must enter into a sacred state. Now, a lot of people who scream and argue and say, oh my God, especially during Hajj, oh my God, Imam Tahir, how come we can't use soap? What's going to happen? You can use hand sanitizers, right? Hand sanitizers, the non-scented hand sanitizers, you can use those. The hand sanitizing wipes, you can use those. But you know, people get all worried. And I like to tell people, listen, you know, you're in your haram maybe maximum 3-4 hours before your flight. 7-8 hour flight. During the Hajj season, 12 hours at Jeddah airport. Okay? And then Makkah, the journey to Makkah, 2-3 hours. And then maybe a few hours in your hotel. And then the Umrah, maximum 24 hours. Whereas you have to keep in mind that up until recently, when people used to arrive on foot, they used to put on, when you put on your ihram at Dhul Hulayfa in Medina Munawwara, you are traveling on foot for 250 kilometers. 50 kilometers on foot, in sand, in the heat, in ihram. Just imagine that. Right? So, putting things into perspective. And people still travel by road. I know people who drive all the way from Riyadh to Makkah for Hajj and Umrah and so on and so forth. Yes?
So, okay, let's kind of get down to understanding first. So it's because you're entering into the sacred territory.
That's right.
In a certain state
Yeah.
when you enter.
Yeah.
Okay. But once you're in and then you do that haram and you cut your hair.
You make your Umrah, then
cut
you
your hair and
then you're out.
then you're outside
Yeah.
and then you just redo it.
The tahleel of the state of ihram, hurma, right? Hurma is to make the tawaf and sa'i and then get the haircut done. And then you can come out of ihram. Why is this? This is what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did himself through his actions when he came from Medina Munawwara. Simple as that. And then when the Sahaba asked him during the Hajj, Ya Rasulullah, we're coming from here, where do we make our ihram? Ya Rasulullah, we're coming from here, we're coming from Yemen, where do we make our ihram? And so the Prophet ﷺ designated places. Yes, questions?
So what about the salah that if you do the umrah, the salah passes, do we just make up for it?
If you've missed any prayer anywhere, you make up for the salah. A lot of people ask, like, do we shorten our prayer? No, you don't. You're praying behind the local imam. I'm hoping you're praying at the haram. You know what I'm saying? You're praying at the haram. The imam's going to lead 4, and you will pray 4. Though if you've missed a prayer and you're making it up either at the haram or in your hotel on your own, then of course you will shorten. But otherwise, try to the best of your ability to pray behind the imam in jama'ah. Though I will add, if you have young children with you, then it's probably best not to take them at Dhuhr and Asr time. It's hot. Okay, and you don't want them kids to get sick. So do try to keep that in mind. Yeah. When we went as a family a few years ago, we wouldn't take the kids at Dhuhr and Asr. But then when we'd go before Maghrib, then we'd stay at the haram until late into the night. Right? The kids would do whatever they needed to, and the parents would do whatever they needed to. I take it that's it, inshallah. Yes, Asif bhai.
When couple go out, make sure they have the landmarks and gate numbers.
Yeah, when you go out, this is Umrah, so you won't get lost, inshallah, and the hotels are close by. But have some sort of a landmark. Carry photocopies of your passports with you. And of course, you'll have your passports with you. This is not Hajj. And so you can get a SIM card, buy an unlocked cell phone, I guess, before you go. Or you can buy one there if you need to, so that you can call each other, communicate with each other. Landmarks are good. Our hotel is so close that you don't even have to wear your slippers. There's, in fact, someone from this community, and you know who was my roommate. We'd be at our hotel. We were at the big tall building. What do they call the big tall building?
Zamzam.
The Zamzam, yeah. So we were at the big tall building, and on occasion, both of us